Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name's Danielle and I'm the owner of Dan Fancy Creations and the Drunk Flamingo Glitter. If you guys are new to my channel, I'm going to post my links and groups down below in case you guys want to check them out. Today's tutorial is going to be a cup made with our July flock box. I love how it turned out. This was my Western box, but the colors can also be translated into fall. We are going to cover everything you see listed here, but in case you guys need clarification or have a question about any of our steps, just comment below and I will come back and answer them when I get a chance. That's it for now. We're going to get started on this tutorial and I can't wait for you guys to watch. Okay guys, so I went ahead and just laid out all of my colors. These are all the colors from July's flock box. So I'm going to show you guys really quick how we're just going to remove the bottom little cap. I started out using a knife, but I have found that the best way for me to remove it is to use a metal putty knife. And I just jam it in between the lid and the outer rim of the cup and just lift it up. So now that that is removed, I am going to spray paint my tumbler in the colors that match our glitter colors. So I started with a mint color, a bronze color, and a purple. I wasn't too picky about the colors that I chose to base paint it with. I just wanted something that would sort of match the colors so that a white base or a stainless base was not showing through. So to apply the glitter, we're going to use Artistry's glitter glue. If you guys do not have this product, definitely go grab it. I love it so much. I typically apply glitter with epoxy, but since I got this glitter glue in, it is amazing, and this is how I apply most of my glitter now. It is not like Mod Podge at all. It is an adhesive, but it is 100 times better than Mod Podge will ever be. So I just apply a decent coat and then I am just kind of smoothing it out just so there's not big globs just randomly all over the tumbler. I'm going to start with our middle color. This is Ranch Water. And we're just going to sprinkle it, let it cascade down the cup, and then we're going to angle our tumbler the other way and let it fall up the cup. This next color is Cowboy Colada. This is a really fine, regular cut glitter with some fine mixed in. It is really pretty. And we're just doing the same thing. We're angling our cup both ways and letting the glitter cascade up and down the cup. That way we get a nice flow from color to color and not such a harsh line. So I'm going in with a little bit more of this blue and sprinkling it on top of the gold just to fill in any gaps. The next color we're going to go in with is Colorado Campfire. I'm typically not a huge gold person, but this one is really pretty. It has some orange mixed in, some yellow, and a nice gold. So it almost gives like a yellow to orange shift, so I really like this one. And next we're going to go in with Wild West. This one is a fine and mini chunky mix. And I'm just using my tea strainer, but it wasn't quite working out as well as I wanted it to. It was a little too chunky. So I'm just using a little bit in my medicine cup. And then we're going to do the same thing at the top. So So I'm going to go back in with a little bit of the Colorado Campfire, just using my tea strainer again and just kind of ombreing that gold on top of the orange. So it gives a nice gradient from color to color. And then we're going to go in with our last color, which is Midnight Cowboy. And I'm just going to get my bottom rims first. And then we're going to angle the cup and let this plum colored glitter kind of cascade into the orange. And after this dried, I brushed off all of the glitter and sealed it with Rustoleum 2 times, but I was not happy with how much blue was on there, so I did use Rustoleum just to apply a little bit more of the gold glitter so that there's just a thin piece of blue. So once all that is sealed, I am going to put 2 layers of epoxy on this tumbler, and then we will be ready for our next step. So now this tumbler has 2 coats of epoxy. I taped half of it. I just put a little sheet of paper to protect the other side so that when we spray paint it, that side will not get any spray paint on it. So I'm going to start with Rustoleum Flat Black. I prefer to use the matte colors because they dry quicker, and in my opinion, they're a lot easier to remove with alcohol or acetone when I'm doing the distressed method. And we're just going to spray a good layer of black on there. If you guys are unfamiliar with the distressed method, distressed geode, these types of tumblers, go check out my friend Amanda Hughes's group on Facebook, Simply Handmade. She is the original creator of this technique. She does amazing cups, and she has several tutorials in her group showing how to do the distressed geode method. So once I have this side completely covered with black, I am going to let this dry, and then we're going to go in with our next color. So this black is now dry. I just paused my camera for a second. It does take a little bit longer to dry than that. And we're going to go in with Color Shot Cheers. This is a pretty champagne color. It just will give a little bit of a metallic vibe. I don't like Color Shot quite as much as Rustoleum, but it is a little cheaper, so I try to make it work when I can. So I'm just spraying this entire side again with this color. Then we're going to let it dry. In the meantime, Mama Deer came up and I did feed her some. She has 3 babies right now. She always knows when I'm outside that she will get a snack if she comes up. I like to feed her apples, grapes. Her favorite is watermelon though. So she's eating her little snacks right now. And I'm going to go in with another layer of this Cheers because it was a little bit too light. And once that dries, we're going to go in with our next color, which is going to be Island Girl by Color Shot. And we're just going to spray this all over the tumbler again. And once that color dries, we are going to go in with our final color, which is Rustoleum Flat White. And we're just going to spray the tumbler again. And then once this is completely dry, we will be ready to distress this part. So now that this part has sat for a little while, it is completely dry, and we can remove the tape and paper from the opposite side. And we're ready to distress this side. I use acetone and alcohol in these little push top bottles. I got these from the Dollar Tree years ago. And I just like to use whatever cloths I have handy. And I will say that if you are concerned about your nails, use double gloves. This was past the 4th of July when I filmed this part of the tutorial, so I wasn't really caring if my nails got messed up because I was about to change them anyway. But if I do care about my nails, I will use double gloves, and it keeps them from getting ruined. So I am just alternating between acetone and alcohol. I used 91% alcohol. It will basically remove some of the paint, but not all of it. So it's really good for distressing edges or the center of the tumbler, things like that. And what I typically like to do is just to make a small little section with the acetone, and then just take my alcohol and kind of work from the top to the bottom. I don't really like huge sections of glitter peeking through. Sometimes you can get funny shapes on your tumbler when you're trying to distress the glitter, so you have to be watchful for that. We don't want funny shapes on our cups. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit, but you guys can pretty much see what I'm doing. We're just removing a little bit of all of the paint colors, the white, the teal, the champagne, and the black. And then I'm just going in with the alcohol and distressing it even more. And my favorite cloths to use are these yellow ones. I just get a huge pack from Costco, and they last me probably a year and a half. And I know I'm going to apply a water slide on this side of the tumbler, so I am leaving the majority of the center of the cup white because I want to make sure that that water slide is going to have a white background so it doesn't blend in too much with the glitter or the colors underneath the white paint. So I'm distressing a lot on the edges and the top and bottom rim, but the center I'm just pretty much leaving as is. And I'm just going back in right now, just cleaning off the glitter. Sometimes I take Q-tips and do this as well, just so all of the paint smudges are off of the glitter, so that when we epoxy, it's going to be nice, bright, and sparkly, and not have a dullness to it because there may be paint film on top. So I am pretty happy with this. So we are going to go in with our decals right now. If you guys got our flock box, your box had all of these decals in your box. These are just some little decals that I put together. You guys can go on Creative Fabrica. I do have their site linked below. I do also have an option for you guys to try them for a month for $1. I have had a Creative Fabrica subscription for quite a while. I use it so much, almost daily. So I'm going to take my heat gun and just kind of fold over that little piece. Make sure it adheres really well. And then we're going to do the same thing with the opposite side. So we're just lining it up. Make sure it's right in between there. I think this little piece was cut off, so I just had to switch it out with another one. There we go. So now that we have the sides done, we're going to put on our layered decal. But first I am just cleaning up these sides really quick. I think they're still a little bit wet from the alcohol, so that when I peeled up the transfer tape, it kind of lifted that paint a little bit. But since this side was already distressed, it really didn't take away from anything, just added a little bit more distressing. So now we're going to put on our HOWDY. This is a layered decal. First, we're going to layer our leather HOWDY, or you may have gotten a cow print one. And I think my cut was off. I'm not sure what I was doing here. But I just had to adjust it a little bit. You know, we've all been there. And yes, I know my hair is always in the way. So once we get this layer picked up, we're going to lay it on top of the black offset. And then we're going to pick this up and we're going to apply it to the glitter side of our tumbler. And I did cut these too deep, so I apologize if your backing stuck to yours as well, but I just use my little tweezers and lift them up. And I'm just going to apply this right in the center. So I was really happy with that. And after I applied that decal, you can either spray seal it with clear gloss, which is what I do, That way you don't have to epoxy before you add your water slide. Clear gloss spray will also work. But you don't want to apply it to a dull base because you will see the dullness under epoxy. As long as you spray it with clear spray, or if you epoxy, then you can apply your water slide decal and you won't be able to see the edges. So I am just wetting the backing of my water slide decal, and I just let it sit for about 30 seconds, and then it should be ready to release from the backing. So once it starts to slide off, then you know it's ready to apply to your cup. So I am just wetting my cup right now, just so there's water underneath the decal. And we are just going to slide it on. And once we get the decal on the cup, I like to arrange it, make sure it's straight. And then I just take my microfiber towel and kind of squeeze out any water that's underneath the decal. I know a lot of people like to use the little silicone spatulas. That's totally fine. You just have to find what works for you. I also like Sunnyscopia water slide the best. I have tried different brands, including Haze, and I just have never been super impressed with them. Sunnyscopia has always been great. I can wet the backing of the water slide decal, and within 30 seconds, it's ready to apply to my cup. And I will let this decal sit for an hour or so, and then we will be ready to apply the final layers of epoxy. And next we are going to do our bottom. So here is our tumbler completely finished. I am going to do the bottom now. I am going to use UV resin. If you guys want to use regular epoxy, you can do that as well. I am just squeezing a little bit of UV resin into a little medicine cup. And we're going to use Cowboy Colada. We're just going to mix it up. We're going to apply a thin little layer. You don't want anything super thick. This is just going to be the base for my crystals that I'm going to put on the bottom of the cup. Just because I didn't want it a purple background, I wanted it to be gold or something a little bit lighter. So I am just spreading this UV resin pretty thin. I think I only did 5 or 10 mils. I think it was a total of 10 because I needed a little bit more. It was a little bit thinner and I wanted a nice flat surface to apply the stones to. So I am just flattening this out. Then I am going to cure it with my UV lamp. And I also will take this outside just because I prefer to cure things with the sun. I feel like I get a much better cure and quicker. But I do like to cure it initially with the light just so it's not shifting while I'm trying to take everything downstairs. So once this is cured, I am going to use Cowboy Glass Crystal Mix. This is up on my site, thedrunkflamingo.com, if y'all are interested. It's a really fun mix of blues, champagnes, browns. I thought it would be perfect for this tumbler. Liquid Fusion is my adhesive of choice if we're going to be blinging tumblers. And I use the Crystal Katana or the Crystal Kubaton to apply them. And when I do tumblers, or really when I'm blinging anything, I like to start with the edge first. That way I know the edge is going to be nice and straight. All of the crystals are going to match up nicely. And once I get the outside edge completed, I will work my way from the outside in. So I am just going to speed this up a little bit. But I really just kind of pick and stick, pick and stick, pick and stick. And this would be considered the scatter method. I like to use the scatter method versus honeycomb or straight lines or anything like that. Honestly, just because that's a lot of thinking. And with the scatter method, you can just basically fit crystals in to where they fit. And I personally like the look of it better. And you can use different sizes. So I will kind of stick a group on, and then you can see I kind of shift crystals closer together, just kind of squeezing everything in so that everything is nice and tight and there's not going to be a lot of gaps in between the crystals. So we are almost finished. So I'm just kind of shifting them now and fitting in the tiny crystals. Make sure there's no gaps. So I think that turned out super pretty. And once that part is done, I'm going to go add a little bit of gold glitter around the second thinner cavity. So I'm just mixing up some epoxy. And I'm just using epoxy for this one because I wasn't in a huge hurry. I don't care if it's going to take a couple hours to cure. I just used UV resin for the base of my stones just to show you guys that you can do that, and so I could go ahead and cure that and put my crystals on quickly. So I'm going to add some glitter. I thought I did gold, but I did purple. I believe this is Midnight Cowboy. So I'm just going in with my popsicle stick, and we're just adding a couple drops to each little section and then letting it kind of even out. And then I'll just kind of look at everything, see if I need to add a couple more drops to certain sections. And then I will take it downstairs and use my torch and pop the bubbles. But once that is cured, your cup will be finished. So here are some finished pictures, how everything turned out. I love how this cup looks. It's super cute. Definitely a fun tumbler to make. So if you guys got July's flock box, this is a way that you can use all your colors for one cup, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If y'all enjoyed this tutorial or learned something new, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to catch the next video coming up that was chosen just for you. As always, if you're looking for more tips, tricks, or tutorials, be sure to check out my tutorial group or my Damn Fancy tribe. Both are linked in the description. Thanks for watching.